Okay, so we've died twice now.
We meet again.
And we go, alright, so how are we going to do this? So they want to go and make sure that we can go before
Hi.
it happens. It's only 15 minutes in total, which
Right.
isn't very long at all. Be careful when you're clicking on Chrono,
4 hours before the attack happens.
because the guards will actually eat you. Seen plenty of people get smudged by the guards floating around here.
No worries. 4 hours was probably too early anyways. Let's try 1 hour.
So we know from talking to all the people that there's, under the 4 shrines, that there's something unusual happening in each one. So what you want to do in this first instance is find the boss in each one. The reason that we want to do that is so that when we come back again, because you're going to run out of time in each instance, is that you don't have to go through the whole process again. Now this part is for where you apply talents. She just freezes time altogether. So if you click on her and you go have a look at a strategy, so you have your talents, so she can freeze an enemy, all enemies within 5 yards, 3 seconds, plus damage and bonus to healing. Or mounted speeds, damage and bonus to healing. I quite like this one, because it will help keep them at bay. I do more damage if they can't actually block what I'm doing. So, yep, after you've chosen that, you go, yep, let's go to the next scenario. Now, you can only choose, I'll show you again. You can only choose these as you go up to certain levels of reputation. So it's like doing the tillers all over again. But this time you actually get to choose talents like we do in our order hall. So Khadgar gave you the quest to get to this one here, which is the time hopper. So these first couple of times, instead of using to expend to pick up shards and extend the time that we're on, what we're going to do is we're going to use it for rep. Now, I don't know whether you have noticed if you've been doing these, but there are a few rares floating around, and they're really easy to kill. Your damage and everything has been increased, so your player set level now is 112, and your item level is set to 1000. So the damage you do is quite impressive, but obviously the damage that they do is good as well. So this is one of the rares that floats around. Every time you enter the instance, he'll be here, or somewhere between here and the shrine. So these were what I was talking about, the sands of time. So you can use them to either increase your armor, or you get a bronze dragonflight to earn assistance from the bronze drag. This one here will hunt down and kill one of the enemies for you. I didn't realise I had a debuff on me. If you die during the time, you can also respawn. It just means that the timer down here doesn't change. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to use the time walking badges, but what you can do when you get that particular one, if you click on it, it will actually defeat a boss in a certain area. So let's do this shrine first. You don't have to talk to the people with the question mark. It's just another way of wasting time. So each one of these drop a plume and a twisted thing. And they can also drop more of the time, sands of time. So you can do all this in DPS spec. You can do in protection, because your damage is pretty good. Like, you're level 1000, item level 1000, so it's not like you're not doing much damage. Now, when I collect enough of the plumes and when I collect enough of the vines, I'll get this little thing down the bottom. See this one here? It says Nightmare Catcher. When you click it, it allows you to enter the Nightmare Dream. It gives you a buff to enter the Nightmare Dream. Now, the first time you do it, you might get all excited and do that. But if you hang on to them and make it so that you've got 3 stacks, then you don't have to keep going off and fighting NPCs all the time. You just use them all at once. So the whole thing is about being able to do as much damage in as little time as possible. Chromie's buffs do give you extra abilities as you go further along, reputation, that sort of stuff. Chromie can be helpful. Sorry, the tree's in the way there. Chromie can be helpful, and she can also be a hindrance. She doesn't watch where she's going, and usually she'll stand there in stuff that she's not supposed to. So she's one of those players that you go, get out of the fire, get out of the fire. That's her. The other thing you want to take note of is where these giant trees are. So this one here, the Ancient Elder, because we're going to come back. They're the ones being attacked by the Nightmare. And I'll show you in a minute when we get there. So.
Would you look at the time? Only about 10 minutes left.
So the first couple of times you're not really going to be able to complete all 4. So don't panic. Because there's a lot of grinding to do to find the boss that's causing all these problems. So you can add stolen time, which means at the end of your countdown here, extra time's added, but as I said, we're doing this the first couple of times. We don't really need the bonus of the time just yet. So there's the second Elder that will have to come back and help free from the Nightmare. I have to apologise, I'm a bit short of breath at the moment, so there may be a few extra pauses which aren't common. It's the brain trying to catch up. So as you can see, I'm already up to 2 stacks now of the Nightmare Catcher. I'm just going around and killing pretty much most of the mobs that are left. Alright. The best part is you can fly in here, which just makes life so much easier. Yeah, I've missed a couple somewhere. I'm just trying to look around and see where I've missed one. The spawn rate's pretty quick, so I wouldn't stress too much. Alright, so now we have 3. Alright, so we're going to go to our first Elder. And he's over here, and we're going to use this. So we're going to click on the Nightmare Catcher, and then we're going to enter the Nightmare Dream. So as you can see, now we have to attack the Tormentors. My gear is quite average, and the buffs that you get just make it so much easier to do this with. I don't normally play my warrior, so we can skip those guys, as we know our next tree is up here. Make another Nightmare Catcher, and we can enter the Nightmare Realm, and that should take us away from aggro, and we can see our second tree is up here. There's no time limit on the Nightmare thing until you actually kill. So you can see we're down to 6 minutes, and that's just trying to clear the first area. So yeah, I'm going a bit slow. I'm in prot form, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you get to the boss each time. You don't even have to kill them the first time. You just have to make Chromie aware of where they're located. Okay, so we'll make another one. And then we're going to fly over to the last tree, if you remember it's over here. And we're going to enter the Nightmare Realm again. It's just easy that way if you collect them all at once rather than doing one at a time. Grinding, doing it again, grinding, doing it again. Trying to be as time sensitive as possible. Now obviously the higher your item level is, the quicker you'll chew through these as well. Because even though it increases it, it works off what you've got as well. Might you I'd kill to be doing the damage like that in your prot. Okay.
The dreamers gave us 3 clues.
So
Great nightmare. There's 5 minutes left. You think we'll finish in time?
So Chromie's now given me a quest. And it says here
Let's
3
go.
clues, and you go accept. And now we're going to find where the nightmare is. So we have to hand in. And let's do this. So this will be the first one. So this is the first nightmare. So now we've found him and we've handed in the quest to Chromie. Make sure you stun that sleep. That's a 5-second 5-second bloody that you can't afford to lose. And it works on the same 15-second cooldown as what your actual pummel does, or whatever your silencing abilities. So I may die here. I'm not avoiding my damage very well. So now that we know where the first one is, I don't have to worry about killing him. So I've got about 3 minutes to do a bit of farming down here. So I'm going to see if I can get it done in 3 minutes. Probably not because I've already died. So you can remember Calyx said that there was a problem down here. Ley lines are all spewy. So don't bother about the little ley worms. They'll give you rep. Don't get me wrong, rep's awesome. That's what we're here for. But at the end of the day, we want to make it so that we can get to the bosses as quickly as possible. Because next time I enter, I don't have to go through this whole rep grinding thing again to find out where the boss is hidden. I can just go straight to where the boss is.
I'm more powerful than I appear, you know.
So these big ones drop the shards that we need, or the bandages or whatever the hell they want to call them, so that we can summon the dragon. So I don't think I'm going to make it, but I will try. So use these as often as possible. As I said, don't worry about the timer just yet, because we're coming back anyway. So like before, when you saw the Enter the Nightmare bubble and where you see the Sands of Time, you'll also see a thing to enter the Nether, and it's to find the Nether boss. Alright, hopefully I can get to her. No, the bigger ones. So just focus on the big ones. Don't worry about the little worms. There's batches of 3s, and then you'll find, 1 or 2 here and there. In a minute to get this quest. Come on. The reason I know where these are is I've done them on another tomb, but I wanted to actually show you how to get there. Because it's easy to say, oh, this is how you do it. But unless you actually see that, 1, you can die. And 2, that, it's not always that easy. Okay, there we go. Void Caller Scroll. Lovely. She's got me a quest, except... Oh, shit, I'm going to have to kill this thing. 100 rep, I'll take that. I got 40 seconds to kill this guy and the worm. Some extra damage would be helpful about now. Okay, come on. I just need to find a worm. Alright, so mount up. And then it is the pillar closest to the dragon here. So Chromie will have a quest. Come on, let me talk to it. Now, all I have to do, next time I come in, is come straight to this point. And we'll run out of time in about 3 seconds anyway. And then I'll show you how to get the other ones. There we go, time's out.